Now we're going to move on to our spotlight section, and we are going to hear from Ryan Bishop and Irene Coburn, who is the Android engineer from Aira.
And I'm delighted to say that we are joined by Ryan Bishop and Irene Coburn from Aira. Hi, Ryan. Hi, Irene.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Do you want to introduce yourselves and tell us what your roles are at Aira? Ryan, can I start with you?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Ryan Bishop. I am currently the product manager here at Aira. I've been here for about 2.5 years now. Started in our customer care department, moved up to our product department, and have been here ever since. I glad to be here today. Looking forward to talking more about Aira, Android. It's a big change for me to really bring in the Android product and really get it going. So happy to be here.
Well, it's fabulous that you are here. Irene, tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, I'm Irene Coburn and I'm senior software engineer working at Aira. I started my employment with Aira 5 months ago. Before that, I've been working with dev community as a software engineer for almost 10 years. It was a research project. We did study American Sign Language, and I've been working for 8 years on medical devices, also as a senior software engineer.
Fabulous. Thanks very much for joining. Ryan, I'm going to start at the absolute top. What is Aira?
Yeah, so, I think the really simple way to describe Aira that I describe it to a lot of people who drive cars actually is it's almost like OnStar. But it's a product where you can get visual information from a live trained agent. And I say trained in large air quotes. Our agents go through almost a whole month of training before they get on the dashboard to talk to explorers, which is what we call our customers. So they can go through specific things like mobility, audio description, all sorts of things like that. You download Aira on your smartphones, whether that be iPhone or Android. And it's really simple to get started. Download our app into your mobile number, and you're able to call into these agents and really do anything. There isn't any task that an agent can't do. As long as it's legal where you are, the agents can do it. So we've had people come from all walks of life, all over to do travel, go to concerts. We've had people do movies. We've had people do homework. We work a lot with transit agencies and businesses to provide employers assistance with either HR or getting you hired to a company. One thing that we have done also is job seekers. So we've really tried to help bridge that barrier in employment by helping with accessible applications. So you name it, you can really do anything with Aira, and happy to help everyone get started.
And what's the history of the company? How long has it been around? How did it come about?
Yeah, it started in 2015. A really great man, Suman Kanugante. He was really a visionary who came out of school with a few people, Larry Bach, Yuja, and Watson, and they really wanted to. Suman and Larry were friends at school and really wanted to build a way for Larry to see the world, really to get assistance. And so he founded this thing called Aira, and it stands for Artificial Intelligence Remote Assistance. And we started in 2015 at the NFB National Convention. It was over the summer. And actually, the funny story about that convention that we say is we didn't actually intend to launch the service in July of that year. It kind of happened as an accident. It was supposed to be going to the convention for a research project to really see how Aira was going to go. And they got there, and the story goes, they got there, they got to the exhibit hall. If anybody's been to a convention for NFB, you know how insane those exhibit halls can get. I believe they were in Orlando. Was it Dallas or Orlando? I don't remember 2015, honestly, so long ago. And they went in and they went to show off the product, and instead of getting a whole bunch of feedback, what they got was people flashing their credit cards at them and saying, hey, how do I sign up? When can I sign up? And so the story goes, Watson went overnight and went back to his hotel room and redesigned the entire Aira system to be able to accept payments and really be able to work. They went out the next morning, bought a Square card reader, went back that night and signed up over 200 people at the convention. And so Aira got started that way, and it was completely different from where it was now. I mean, back then you had to do like it was hour-long phone onboardings. It was insane, but it started really there, and it grew from that to what it is today. And from there, we've grown exponentially. So we worked with all the founding organizations, really started getting the apps up to date, everything going, and it's been a ride.
So something can go viral at a blindness convention then?
Absolutely, yeah.
Viral without the space to replicate like a virus, then this did. You used some kind of big words, and we were talking about what you could do with Aira, like you could do travel. Can you just unpack that a little bit? So what sorts of things might I be able to do with an Aira agent if I'm an explorer, which I am, by the way?
Wow.
And I dial up. So give us some use cases.
So we'll go travel first. So like you can call an agent, and let's say you can literally go from point A to point B. So agents, I'll kind of describe a little bit. So when you call into an Aira agent, you get which really sets us apart from other applications. So when you pick up the call to the agent, not only does the agent see what's out of your camera, like most applications, but we have a specially designed dashboard that allows the agent to also see an entire Google Maps location of where you are. They can manipulate your phone to be able to take pictures. So if they need to see something, or if you want to capture a moment, the agents can take a picture for you. They're able to look up locations based on the map of where your GPS is. They can really get involved in where you are. And so really, it's almost like an agent being there with you remotely and helping you navigate that area. So if you're, one big thing is a lot of people use us in airports. If they want to get through TSA or whatever and find their gates, we can help with that. You can go to a street, and the agents can describe the intersection, how many lanes of traffic, all sorts of stuff like that. All the way from at-home tasks. We've had explorers who call an agent, have them look up cooking recipes, and agents can read information on boxes or do Google searches. We work with TeamViewer, so agents can control your computer, help you with those dreaded captchas. Or if you're on an Android phone that lets you, agents can help you control your phone. If not, they can always just view your screen. One big common task is doing one of those virtual in-app banking check caches. And one of the biggest things about agents is they're all vetted. They're under NDAs. They're signed in. They're actual employees of Aira. So we have, our agents are very protected. Information's private and secure. And I think that's another thing that really sets us aside. So there really is, as I said before, as long as it's legal, you can do it.
So if you were deluded enough to want to buy a Pixel phone, they could help you do that online.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. Would they comment on your lack of taste or advise you against it, or would they just have to do what you told them?
No. So the agents are not. They can give If you ask for it, their opinion, but agents are trained to be objective. So no, they wouldn't tell you that the Pixel phones are a bad idea. And
so they will walk Warren off a cliff if he insists on buying a Pixel
6. You know what? Here's someone who's using a Chinese phone, Ryan. So
I'm using a Japanese phone. I've got a Sony Xperia 1 Mark III, me.
Anyway, so back to Aira, though. There's something that you mentioned, Ryan. This is Warren, by the way. We also have Miriam here with us. But something you mentioned that really captured my attention, and that has to do with taking pictures. I am blind, and I'm so much into photography and things like that. But so in reality, actually, someone could have you guys help them. For example, say I go to a wedding and I want to take those pictures.
Oh, that's a common one.
There and stuff like that. This is something that you guys can actually easily do, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So the camera is directly in the app, so the agents can literally tell you, turn your phone a little bit to the right, to the left. They're trained in getting you pointed exactly where you want to get that picture, and they can take the picture for you. Even better is our agents are trained to do audio description for the picture and write alt text. And so when you save the picture to the camera roll, the alt text that the agent writes will also save as well. And so not only do you get those magical moments saved on the camera, but you can also go back and remember them later on with the alt text that the agent writes, and they can either email that to you or save it to your phone. We have a lot of people actually who get Aira agents to do their weddings. It's a pretty common thing that happens, probably multiple times a year, where they'll have agents either do audio describing for the wedding, where they'll be described to a bunch of guests, or just do photo shoots. A lot of people will just call in to get photos of their dogs. Agents love pets, so you'll be their best friend. So yeah, there's many opportunities there.
So when we take these pictures, are they locally stored on my phone or are they stored at your end?
So it's both. So it starts at our end. So when the agent takes the picture, and mainly the reason for that is when we take the picture, it takes it on our dashboard. We have the ability then to resize the picture, to crop the picture, rotate the picture, whatever you need done with that picture. And then the reason why we don't do it right on your phone is because we want to get that alt text on there, right? So it's super important to have that. That way you know what that picture is later. And then what will happen is the agent will ask you if you want them to save that picture to your phone or if you want that emailed to you. And either way, if it goes to your phone, it goes right into your Aira app, then you can share it or save the photo to your phone. And then if they want to email it to you, then you just get it right as an attachment.
How long do these pictures then stay with you guys before you get rid of them?
They go instantly. So the moment your call ends, you don't have your pictures anymore if you choose not to save them. An agent cannot access photos or literally any information from a customer outside of a call. So the moment that call goes away, if you're like, oh, shoot, I should have saved that picture, you're going to have to take it again. Because just of the privacy and security of data.
So basically what we're talking about here is the fact that the app is very important in helping one manipulate the pictures or for you guys to give that person a guidance on how to hold their phone and all of that. Now, what countries are you guys available in?
Funny you should ask this question. Right now we are available in 5 countries. So United States, Canada, United Kingdom, Australia, and New Zealand. But we just announced about a month or on Global Accessibility Awareness Day, our Aira Global Form. And so basically what's happening is we are progressively rolling out in other countries. One of the reasons why this is progressive is because of a feature that we just launched yesterday that we are in very high stage beta for, but it's happening. Which is multi-currency support. So we're working on getting Spanish into the Aira app. And then we're very, very high end betaing this right now to see what the interest looks like. And so that's in the app as of yesterday. But you're going to start seeing this in various countries. So anybody who fills out that form on aira.io/global, We'll pick your countries and we'll start rolling the Aira app out. Eventually, by the end of the next couple of years, we hope to be everywhere that we can support, obviously, except for the one countries where like a United States company can't be in for other reasons, which I think there's a few of those. I think there's like 9 of them where we actually cannot legally have service.
When you go to these countries, then let's say we fill the form out, and our colleague Mariam in Portside, Egypt, our co-host who's not here, Austin.
Yeah.
If it rolls out to Egypt and India, will that be English speaking, or would that be kind of?
It would be English speaking at first, yeah. So it'd be English speaking at first, and then as we continue to progressively roll out languages, that will be added to the app. But yeah, for right now, primarily English speaking.
Yeah, and the languages, will that be agents, or will that be kind of Babelfish supporty? You know what I mean. It'll kind of be AI translation. What's your Spanish thing?
Yeah, so we don't actually use anything AI right now. So anytime you connect to anybody on the Aira app, it's always human English or human Spanish. So right now, yeah, so we're hiring for various languages as we add them on. So at any time in the Aira app, you don't ever talk to any AI. It's always human.
That takes us to another question, which is how can someone can anyone apply to be an agent in Aira? Because like you said that you're trying as you can, and not everyone probably in Egypt, if you support if Aira rolls out to Egypt, would speak English. So how can someone apply to be an agent? Do you need certain qualifications, or literally can anyone?
Yeah, so anyone can apply to be an agent. However, I think it's safe to say that we've got probably, and if it tells you anything, we did, I think it was 15,000 applications last year for Aira agents, and we accepted probably 1% of those applications. So Aira agents are somebody who can handle multiple tasks, who can really, who has a really great customer service ethic. There's not really a degree, right, for an Aira agent, but it really is somebody who's great at maps, great at doing, everything that you can possibly do. If you can imagine for an Aira agent, right, there's so much there that you have to do. And it is a very complex application process. The application itself is very multi-step. So you take the application, which is a form that you fill out that it probably takes about 30 minutes to fill out, because it's one that does maps. So you have to do a bunch of stuff there, record some descriptions, some visual descriptions, all that. And then once that gets sorted through, you go through interviews, you meet with some of the team, you get asked a bunch of questions, and then it gets sorted through there. And just even through that, and getting through the application process is step one. Then you go through this agent training process, which is learning all of the terminology, all the things that you have to learn. And then you get trained by people who are blind and low vision. And you have to pass their training too. And so whether that's navigating them, whether that is doing tasks for them that that have to be, and really get through that. So there's a whole step process. But yes, really anybody can do it if they can get through all of that, and it is a paid job. So it's employment, it's everything. So but it is really difficult to actually succeed as an agent. But if you do, it's very rewarding.
So I got a question though this time for Irene. Now, Irene, I'm not sure if Aira got started on Fruitvale, that's iOS. I call it Fruitvale, whether it got started on iOS or Android. And on the Android side, how was it for you? Was it quite a challenging thing to make the app work with Android phones? Because so oftentimes what we hear from developers who said, "Oh, it's so hard to do things for Android," and as a result of that, some apps never get to come to Android till much later on. And I was just kind of wondering how the experience has been for you as one who works on the Android side of things for this particular app.
Actually, it's very well said. Android is a difficult system because so many devices are available. It's a lot, and also often those devices have not been updated to a most current version of SDK, Android SDK, and so on and so forth. So I want to go with an example. We have a problem with picture taking only on some phones. I'd been testing with Android S9 and everything works very, very well. But our Explorer been reaching us that on her Samsung S10e, she isn't able to take pictures. So for that particular reasons, I just received this model of Android and I'm going to test and debug this issue on this model. Quite often, certain functionality doesn't work on certain devices. Usually those devices are quite old, quite outdated, but sometimes we can see it on relatively new devices and so on and so forth. Yes, developing for Android is more complicated than for iOS, that's for sure.
And how is the Android app now? Because I know previously, I think because of this, the iOS app was perhaps more feature rich, but I know the Android app got updated, what, a month, 6 weeks ago? Does that start to restore some parity? How are we looking between the two operating systems?
Actually, at that time, Android app has some features that iOS doesn't have. But at the same time, iOS have a feature or two that Android doesn't have. So let's probably focus on what Android has that iOS is behind at the moment.
And you know what? We want to thank you. I think that's probably because of you.
It really is, though. And I'll throw that out there, guys. I'll throw that out there, guys.
We have that goodness.
Aira started, and we had an Android app, but it was probably, it was admittedly left a little bit behind as we went on, mainly for a few reasons. One being the multiple devices, two being just the development of apps. And one of my focuses, especially as coming in as PM, was looking at what we could do to get apps up to date. We need parity in our apps, especially if we're going to go global. Like, there's a survey out there that says, in the United States and the United Kingdom, most people use iPhone, but everywhere else it's Android. And that stands true for a few reasons. But I think, as we go through, just to give Irene a shout out, like coming in 5 months ago and really bringing our Android app up to where it is today was amazing. And, there's a lot more to go there. But I think that we're getting there. There are features that the Android app has now that iOS doesn't have. We're probably going to see that for a little while as we go forward before we get to full parity. But I think that as we continue to grow, as we continue to evolve these apps and to really iron out the very specific bugs that are happening on 5 different devices that aren't happening on the rest of the Android devices out there. I think there's going to be some things that, we're going to discover as we go, and really getting this up to date, getting apps to evolve are our main focus going forward.
Sure. And Irene, can you tell us what the Android features are that the iOS users don't have? Because we are, if nothing but parochial, and we love crowing about what you can't do on iPhones. Warren does especially. So what can you do on the Android Aira app that you can't do on iOS?
Okay, so the feature that we have on Android, but we don't have on iOS yet is some explorers have a partner access account with an organization, and sometimes they have unlimited amount of minutes, sometimes they have limited amount of minutes. So now they are able to check their usage and remaining minutes on a usage screen. This feature is available on Android, and we don't have it on iOS yet.
Wow, that's very good. Well,
Great.
one of the issues I know used to exist, bugs really on Android, and this might be a Samsung thing, was sometimes when you took a still, so you might take a photo and you take photos at weddings, but another reason you might take photos, say in a grocery store to look at a product label. That photo on Android would come out blurry, and the agent wouldn't necessarily get the clarity of picture. Is that bug resolved, or is that one of the ones that you're still looking at?
It should be resolved on most devices. I never saw this bug. I don't see this bug on Samsung S9. I didn't hear from people complaining about it on different devices, but our problematic devices are Samsung S10e and I believe Pixel 2, sometimes Pixel 3.
Of course, the Pixels are a problematic device.
You just armed Edward, when you talked about the Pixel phone, and in reality, though, I'm kind of surprised because you guys were actually using the J series from Samsung. And in my never to be humble opinion, probably that was one of the lowest phones ever. And you guys were having good success with that. And it's surprising that a great phone like the Pixel 2, which actually began the revolution of good picture taking, would have such a problem.
So the J7s that we used was back in our Horizon glasses days. And so what we did was we actually overrode the entire operating system, and we built the Aira Horizon operating system, which was on those phones. And what it basically was an app that locked that phone down, so you actually couldn't use the phone for anything but Aira. And so when you turned on the phone, it opened up this app that just let you push the button to call. And one of the main reasons, so unfortunate to this day, one of the main reasons why that doesn't work anymore is because the J7s got rid of their home button on the bottom of the screen. And what we found was a lot of people really needed that home button in order to access Horizon. There was also an issue of our supplier, which really stopped updating. The J7s were end of life, and they stopped updating, and we didn't really want to make everybody have to buy new phones. We were selling the Horizon package as a custom package with glasses included, and when we got rid of Horizon back, I think it was April of last year, if I remember correctly, the exact dates. Such a hard pressed thing to do, but I think, going forward, I always say this to people, like, I think for glasses, the biggest problem is we had this device. So we've went through many glasses over the years. For those of you that have followed us for a while, we had the Google Glass V1. And then we moved to what we called the Austria glasses.
We have come to this junction now that I would like you to talk about subscription models and things like that, because people would like to know what they're going in for and which packages would be a better package for them. Could you take us through some of the subscription models that you guys have?
Absolutely, yeah. So when you first start the service, you get a week-long training. And so what this basically is when you start the service, you get just a week to try out the service. No strings attached, no money, no minutes, no nothing. You just get to use the service and work with agents. When you're done with that, you stay on our free tier, which is one free 5-minute call every 24 hours. But you can upgrade your plan. So the first plan starts at $29 a month. and that gives you 30 minutes of agent time. I usually recommend people to start out here and really see if you're going to use 30 minutes or not. Because you can add on minutes too, and I'll get to that in a little bit, which are just monthly minute packages that you can add. Our pretty common one though is our standard plan. That's at $99 for 120 minutes. And then we have our advanced plan, which is $199 for 300. Now I'm only giving the US prices. I don't memorize all the other currencies. But if you're in one of the other countries we support your currency with a modified price point to make it equivalent for you based on the time that we set up the prices for the currency rates.
So for example, if let's say I'm on a 30-minute plan and I got into a situation that I need to buy minutes on the go, for instance, I want to buy 5 more minutes or 10 more minutes. Is that a possibility that one could just do that besides that standard subscription that they've chosen? For instance, and I'm at this wedding and I'm taking more pictures than my time is going to allow me. Could I tag on another 10 minutes and just get billed for that, or it's not possible?
Nope, you can. So you can really just add on minutes. I believe we have a 30, 50, and 100-minute packages you can add on. You can also upgrade and downgrade your plan at will. So you're not locked into anything when you subscribe to us. You can subscribe for a month and cancel if you have to. We have a lot of people who do that. They'll just subscribe for a month because they think they need more, or they'll subscribe, they'll upgrade in a month, and then they'll cancel their plan the next month and come back after that. Like, it really is not locked into anything. You're free to do however you feel in your subscription.
And can one manage these payments within the app, or does one need to go to your website in order to be able to manage payment subscriptions?
Yep, so there's multiple ways you can do it. You can do it in the app. You can upgrade, you can sign up, you can even add on the minute packages in the app. You have to call customer care to cancel your plan, but and to downgrade your plan, you have to call as well. And you can also call our care team to sign up too if you have trouble in the app.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is it 24-hour please, like, or there's a certain timing that we cannot call for assistance or call an agent?
No, agents are 24/7. As of, I think it was September of 2018, September 1st, 2018, agents have been 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, including holidays.
Can you say a little bit about, for those that are members of blindness organizations, I think you discount some of the plans, don't you?
We do, yep. So for various organizations, if you're a veteran, we have a plan for you. If you are part of the NFB or ACB, CCB, RNIB, there's another one too that I can't remember off the top of my head, one of those other B.
Well, that's good to know that you guys have such plans that people could avail themselves of these things if they are members of these different organizations and things like that.
You used the G word a little while ago, Ryan, in answer to a question that Warren asked, of course, glasses. I obviously, you spoke about the need to pull the Horizon, not Verizon. Don't have to get onto CDMA phone networks, the Horizon glasses. Obviously, hands-free and traveling around is a thing. You can do it. Is there any news on the glasses or wearables front?
There isn't today. We are really doing a dive on investigating the best wearable. I think for us, there's a few things that we're looking at, right? So there's compatibility. With our glasses, we've had they've all been locked to one platform, and so you've always had to have a third-party thing that was plugged in, and then either a cable or something. And it was really clunky. One thing we've heard was the video streaming is horrible. The just really getting connection to the glasses is bad. And so one thing that we want to do is find compatibility for phones for people to use the glasses on their own devices, whether that be Android or iPhone. We need glasses that are powerful enough to really handle the video streaming capabilities, and then also have ones that work with other disabilities too, like hearing aids that work with various other things like that. So we're still investigating. I don't see Aira ever being a hardware company anymore. We'll be a software company. That doesn't mean, though, that we won't work with other devices. So I think in future, the plan going forward is to really find a way for us to incorporate other devices that work with Aira. Maybe it's not glasses. Maybe it's, I don't know, your doorbell camera. So the agents can look and see what people, who's standing outside the door and help you describe that. Or maybe you can say, hey, did the pizza just show up, right? All the way to working on other devices that you can access Aira with. I think, like, for us, really building the ability for developers to work with us and to build their devices to work on the Aira platform, I think is going to be what the future is going to look like for us as a software company.
So if hypothetically there were a firm in Amsterdam that had a pair of glasses, I'm not saying there is, maybe it runs an OCR app on those glasses. Might it be open to them to kind of develop an Aira app to put on those glasses?
I would say, yeah, it's something that would work eventually on our platform. Yeah, if there was a developer out there who really wanted to build a pair of glasses that could work on our platform, I would say there would be something there. And that's definitely something we want to look at in the future.
Last week, Ryan, we had some developer from Voxmate. Gleb Zevkov was the one we talked with on Blind Android Users podcast. And so I'm just kind of thinking this thing could be incorporated into Voxmate. So maybe I could have Gleb reach out to you guys and see if there's something.
No, we totally would love that. I think, and it's kind of as I was saying before, like, I think there's so many implementations that are possible, as we grow as a company, and there's opportunity for many apps, and I think that I'd definitely love to set that up and to hear more about it.
Yeah. It's the touchscreen implementation of your Horizon thing, really. It's for people who might not be as confident using TalkBack. So it's not quite wall garden. You can close it, but there are 4 gestures basically, and it's a platform of applets. So you might have an Aira app rather instead of, I don't know, going through your access offers and your promotions. It is that gesture set that Voxmate uses that will make
that's pretty amazing.
Senior citizens and others to use the app.
I love seeing these innovations in apps. I think really seeing the differences in the app types, different phones that are out there too, that we can really be on. I think that there's so much opportunity for us as an app to get on various different devices, to get on all these other applications that are out there, even other phones that are out there. I think I see no reason in the future why we can't get Aira, say, on like the Blind Shell or something like that too, the type of phone where we can really get, because I think that one runs Android too, if I'm not mistaken.
It does.
And to really be a part of it. And so I think one of my main features, you guys were talking about where I see the future of Aira going. Like, I think that really having Aira on any device that you have around you to get an agent is something that is going to be huge going forward for us.
Yeah. To what extent does the camera matter on the phone for the agent, as long as it's an okay camera? You'll see it as soon as the Apple event finishes. Does the whatever feature on the iPhone thing mean that I'm going to get a better Aira experience? You must have seen this.
Yeah, always. So what I say is we do use, and Irene, you can speak to this a little bit too, probably. We do use all the native implementations for the camera kits, right? So for iPhone, we use the Apple camera kit for our camera. I think that I'm not going to say that right out of the gate we will support everything because nobody has these iPhone 13s yet. Unfortunately, like I said on our Explorer call yesterday, I wish I was one of those people that got to test the iPhone 13 before it got released to the major public, but if we can't yet. But my hope is that yes, within the next little while, we will be able to support those features. But I don't know if it'll be right out the door. And then I don't know. And Irene, like for Android, what do you think about that? Like for anything special for like new Android releases, camera wise, like how do we support, and can we speak to that? Like what for the different camera functions, super zoom or 3 cameras, picking the best camera. Yeah, I think like we want to do all that, and the agents definitely can. What I will say to people is, give it a couple of months, and I would say they'll, the features will be there. I wouldn't go out and buy an iPhone 13 tomorrow because the cameras are supposed to be better, especially if you're just going to do it for Aira. But we will definitely do our best to support those.
Okay, I think I will explain how it's implemented right now. So right now we are going with one single camera for video streaming and for taking pictures. When we are taking pictures, we are stopping video streaming and taking the best picture this camera, the software, native Android software can give us. And then we are uploading this picture to the server. So we have some limitations, of course, because the picture will be as good as an Android and camera will be able to give us. At the same time, currently, we are working only with one camera. And also sometimes I'd say it's just, like good enough.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah. I wouldn't recommend people to go and to spend a lot of money right now, assuming that they will be able to get some kind of better services or something else.
Obviously, this thing relies on data. And what would be the required data speed for you guys? Does it have to at least be maybe LTE? Or can you guys actually do something even with a 3G connectivity?
So I've seen people do it on 3G. I've seen people do it on the underground even. We used to actually do stuff a lot of the time. I recommend people to get on Wi-Fi where possible. Obviously, the app will continue to try to reconnect. So if you're in a bad zone and your phone is having trouble getting access to the internet, the app will try to reconnect to the agent and get you reconnected. Now, the agents are also going to be honest with you while you're on a phone call or with them. So if they go into a dead zone, or if you go into a spot that's blurry, they'll tell you, hey, I'm having trouble seeing on the camera, and have you try to adjust that, or they'll have a refresh button where they can try to refresh the video feed. We have done anything 3G. Now, when we get to 2G, probably not. I've seen people do it on LTE, 5G. It definitely works great. I would probably say 3G is probably the lowest we'd go. That would probably support though.
Can you talk a little bit? You talked about the subscription prices a while ago and the minutes of those. Can you talk about promotions and Aira access offers?
Absolutely, yeah. So, and I'll say this, like, it goes into Aira access, right? So our subscriptions are one model, but we do support a lot of businesses. So we have Aira access offers from Target, for example, and basically Aira access is free Aira. So it's sponsored either by Aira or sponsored by other businesses that pay for Aira. So you can, one big one that we have in the United States that people use is our job seeker promotion. And that one is sponsored by us, where we will help you edit your resume, look for a job. Actually, that's not just in the United States. It'll be
No,
that
it's
one will be
global.
all over. Yeah, that one's global.
Yeah.
And then, we go into companies. So we have Starbucks. So, that one will be where you can go to any Starbucks store or starbucks.com. All of our access offers now offer online offers as well. And so Target, Starbucks, Intuit has one, many different universities. We really work with employers. We really try to work with people who want to sponsor, especially Aira for your job, Aira on the job. Whether you are trying to get accommodations at work, whether you're trying to read something. We've worked with many people from all types of employment places, government, all the way down to customer service places where we can really work with you. And I think it goes beyond that. I think there really are opportunities to work with people to get your subscription paid for. Like I know we do NDIS in Australia. We work with the VA in the United States. We work with all these different places to try to get your Aira subscription paid for, so that way it offsets that cost. So there's so much opportunity to really get Aira for you. And right now we're working with transit agencies. So there's one actually right now that was just on our Explorer called yesterday for Minneapolis, who is doing their transit agency thing and trying to get Aira there. So there's all sorts of opportunities where we can bring Aira to people just all over the world. And I'm so excited to be a part of that.
Talking about opportunities, Ryan, as we're coming close to closing this great interview with you guys, how about you guys bless a couple of our listeners of the Blind Android Users podcast with 30-minute sessions of the Aira so people could have a little experience of it. And if we're going to do that, I think we're going to make the magic word to get that as Irene. Should we do that?
There you go. Look at you, Irene. Well, I think that just stands for how much work you've put in, especially on getting the Android out there for everyone. Everybody's, it's been a great update, and I'm looking forward to seeing more. So
yeah,
there you go.
Just logistics on that as well. Do our winners need to be in your current locations? So they need to be. Yeah, they need to be in.
Yeah.
United States, Canada, United Kingdom, Australia, and New Zealand.
If you guys, any of you listening, live in one of these regions, remember the magic word is Irene. Pretty Irene. Just Irene would do. Could we do this again, Irene? Because I know you're kind of busy doing all that engineering thing, but it would be great if we do this again, say 3 or 6 months from now, and most especially if you've been able to resolve that issue with the S10e.
Oh, yes, it will be my pleasure. And now I have an intense reason to do it as fast as possible.
Great.
It's been a great pleasure with you guys. Really, thanks for having us. I always love coming on to podcasts and getting to talk about Aira and really bring it to more people. So thank you so much. Android people, we hear you. We're definitely here now and here to stay. I'm looking forward to seeing more Android updates and keep.
And the good thing is that you yourself have the Pixel 5. So there's my brother from another mother, and you guys are going to make sure this thing keeps going on Android. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. A lot of our engineers are Android users. So there you go. There's just a lot of that. So there you go.
Thank you, Irene.
Thank you so much. It definitely was an honor having you, especially because I think that Aira it gives us more opportunities, especially for people who want to be independent. So, but what I really wish for that Aira would be available in my country, which is Egypt, because honestly, I love how you are, what you're doing. It's such an amazing job. So I really wish to see it in Egypt pretty soon.
Well, ira.io/global. Feel free to fill that form out, and you never know. Egypt might be the first one. If you travel out of our supported countries, you can still use Aira.
This is really neat that people can use it. For instance, you're already a subscriber here and you go down to Acapulco, Mexico, or something like that, and you want to take some pictures on the beach, of course, then you'll have that support. I think that's really neat.
We've had some
I'm glad we
explorers
mentioned
go on cruise ships. We've had some people go to Japan.
Yeah.
There's so many places that people have been, and I'll just say this: feel free to check out our YouTube. We do an explorer call every third Wednesday of the month, of every month. We have so many podcasts on how to use Aira. We have our Aira Expedition series, which goes over how to use Aira, what you can do with it. All that's on our YouTube channel. So feel free to take a look at those, and of course, give us a call. We're happy to chat and answer any other questions that may arise.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was a great session. And I say it in the interview, but sometimes the Aira app for Android has felt a little bit neglected. And it's wonderful to hear they've got a dedicated engineer and that they are sourcing phones because people have reported bugs on theirs. So that they're actually buying phones to see if they can replicate the bug. I think that's fantastic. And hopefully it means that the app will get on parity with the iOS app very soon.
And I think that Ryan actually even said they have more Android engineers. And so I think that's really good. Some good news for those of us who are on the Android side of things.
It is.